Welcome back. Goddie is a riveting new book about a mother's tough journey from Jamaica to Canada, and it's a familiar story for many Caribbean mothers. The creative lead for Goddie, who happens to be her son, Richard Picart, joins us now. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here.
So just, of course, this is your mother. The book was written by your twin brother.
Yeah.
How does it feel to work on a story that is so personal?
Well, it is deeply personal. We bear tremendous responsibility for telling her story, and not just her story, but the story of many Afro-Canadians who have come to Canada over the years. There was a period of time in the late 60s into the early 70s where the immigration policy permitted many people to come from the Caribbean diaspora and from other Commonwealth countries around the world to come to Canada. But yet part of that story has not been, amplified in the greater Canadian history. So this book allows us to tell that history through the experience of Goddie, who came to Canada through England in the 60s.
Did you set out to write a book hearing these stories?
No, it was the way that the book came about was through COVID. Our mother is in her late 90s, and as we know, in COVID, so many elders were dying because of the disease and the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And so we made it a point to kind of document her history by having conversations with her and recording those conversations, just so we can capture her story, just in case something tragic happened. And what we learned from those recordings was so powerful that Robert and I decided to put together this book. He led the manuscript, he wrote the book, and put it all together and published it, which is a tremendous accomplishment. And what's happened there is that people have resonated with the story. They've been educated about the history of Afro-Caribbeans through that story, and that's what brings us here today to tell you a little bit more about it.
So your twin brother wrote it. You're the creative director.
Yes.
What does that mean for a book?
Well, he kind of put the words together, and my job was to bring it to life. We're a little bit of a yin and yang relationship. So, of course, I did all the creative work and provided direction there. Mm-hmm. But also in terms of telling the story through video, through images, and providing that visual direction, that falls onto my side of the ledger. Presently, we've finished the book. We've done some materials for education, and we're working on the screenplay for the movie.
That's an incredible accomplishment. I want to jump to the education part, though.
Sure.
What's happening there?
Well, education has been amazing. So we prepared an educational resource for secondary school students. This resource kind of maps along with the book, but it allows students to take a look at the cultural side of the Afro-Caribbean experience. It allows them to look at the depth and the diversity of Black people in Canada. And it's helping students to build their confidence and their competency as it relates to diversity, as well as their awareness of where we come from. So many people come to Canada from various experiences. They leave what they know to chase something that they don't know. And how they come to be here is a story that's very complex. And our learning experience, our resources that are now being used in Toronto and even in this greater Hamilton area, we're looking to have it implemented here. We're looking for students to grow from that experience and grow from the materials.
That's incredible. In the movie, any spoilers? Can we know a little bit about it?
Sure. We're currently working with a director here in Toronto. I'll leave him unnamed. Okay. But we're in the very early stages of preparing the screenplay. But what I will say is that professionals have said that we're working on what's called the Jamaican color purple. So wow. It looks like it's going to be a passionate story that people will truly enjoy.
Do we have a timeline for that?
Well, movies kind of evolve over time, but as we're in the early stages, my hope is that we'll get it on the screen within the next few years. Yeah. We'd like our mother to see it, and she's a senior, so we're working hard to to hit that deadline.
Amazing. Where can we find the book?
Anywhere you buy books. So obviously Amazon, Chapters, anywhere you buy books. And I should note that the audiobook is available, so folks that enjoy listening to books, we've created a really immersive listening experience, and so we encourage people to not only buy the book, but take a listen to the audiobook.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show. I'll have all your information on our website.